Okay, I think this is a pretty interesting video and an interesting topic. I found this in I found this in my recommended, of course. This is titled "Why Aren't Boy Groups as Relevant Anymore?" And I kind of thought of that in passing before because I just like I guess in the time that I came into K-pop to now, it's like girl groups are taking over. And it's like, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. We're getting a lot of good music. Like we got the Eyes, we got the Le Seraphims, the New Jeans, the Black Pinks, and then you got other groups like Purple Kiss, Lollipus, Billy, Like you have all these different groups, and I'm going with different like generations and stuff. Like you also got Inmix, Kepler, G Idol, Stacy. Like you have all these groups, and it kind of seems like there's like a couple boy groups that I guess shine to the top. Like I'm not about to disrespect anybody with who I don't speak of. You know what I'm saying? You have like in Hypen, BTS, of course, TXT, Stray Kids, ATs, 17, to name a few. And you also got these other groups in different companies that aren't like at the tippity top. But then you have your other groups like what was the group? One Us, The Boys, Tan. I really like Tan. And what other groups? Monster X, Got Seven, even though they're not, just speaking of groups of like that kind of like come just I don't know. It's just there's a sense of the girls are taking over. Like and that's fine. I'm with it. This music is amazing. But why aren't boy groups as relevant? Like that's actually a good topic, and I wonder what they're gonna talk about. So let's have a discussion. Let's do that. It's Saturday, and I feel like talking. So let's go. I also think like also is like as it is over here in the Western music industry, like R&B for male R&B is not what it used to be. The women are taking over. In rap, women are taking over. Like it's just like I guess it's just like a time where the women thrive, and you feel me? And that's fine. I'm cool with it. But it is something to think about. You know what I'm saying? It is something to think about. So let's think about it. Let's go.
자세대로 활동하는 그 느낌은 어때요?
제가 생각했을 때 뭔가 남돌 분들이 막 아직 좀 주목을 많이 덜 받는 것 같아서.
근데 이거는 진짜 우리 남들한테 옛날부터 좀 느껴왔던 감정인 것 같긴 해요.
선배님도 느끼셨어요?
네.
그 음원 차트에 보면 거의 다 이제 걸그룹 분들.
그쵸, 네네네.
물론 너무 노래가 다 좋으시지만
맞아요.
남돌 노래 정말 좋은 게 많다고 생각하고.
그렇죠.
I kind of think I'm not gonna lie. I kind of think it's also because there's like a sense of there's a shift. There's like a big dynamic shift with these girl groups and like the stuff they talk about, and like they're just up in quality every time. And it's just like I guess it's not like the boy groups aren't really catching up with like much creativity. That's what I'm kind of thinking of. Like with certain groups, it's like yeah, they're creative AF, but like the concept is kind of still coasting. The girl groups is like they're just unlocking new effects, new different type of concepts, just the way they look. Women just look better in general. So there's that. So and I'm also thinking it's just like I guess a paradigm shift in just the universe or something. That's what I'm thinking. And more like women empowerment and all this stuff. And it's like it's time. It's women's time. So that's could be one of the reasons why as well. It could be. I don't know.
I don't mean to suggest that all boy groups have been relegated to nugudom or complete irrelevance in the current generation. Not at all. But there has been a bit of a cultural shift that has moved the global attention that K-pop receives quite a ways away from boy groups. This is a tricky conversation to have because people can and very often do point to things like album sales or music video views to dismiss this discussion entirely. The vast majority of the best-selling artists in K-pop right now are men, with groups like Sebastine leading the charge. Actually, the top 10 best-selling K-pop albums of 2023 were solely boy groups and male artists. Boy groups are not suffering universally in this way. They're still very successful on average in terms of sales, but the cultural relevance of the K-pop boy group has observably taken a backseat in recent years. Despite very impressive album sales numbers, the longevity of the music these groups are releasing is quite meager by comparison.
And I also think when it comes to like this album sales versus relevancy versus attention and all this stuff, I think actual like cultural relevancy is, in my opinion, better than, I guess, music sales. I believe that because it feels nice to have people knowing what you like knowing what you're doing or like paying attention. That's why I think like getting butts in seats is way more impressive than someone just buying your album online or something like that. Physical copies is good too, but like physical things, tangible things that happen means so much more. Of course, album sales and ticket sales are numbers, but the most important thing is getting the butts in the seats. And that like I'm saying, pretty much perception is everything. Perception is every single thing. And yeah, that could be,
Even domestically, it's seemingly very hard for boy groups to perform well on charts in Korea. Some of the most relevant and best-selling K-pop boy groups today have yet to even see positions on the top 100 of Korean music charts, save for a handful of groups like 17 and TOUS. Is there a fourth or fifth generation boy group contemporary to groups like aespa and NewJeans in terms of cultural relevance?
I don't think so. No, I'm gonna just say no. I don't think so at all.
Are there industry-defining boy group releases like Ditto and recently Supernova?
No.
Comparatively speaking, no. We don't really have a fourth or fifth generation K-pop boy group that is filling the spot of BTS and 17. So what's going on? Why is there now a dominant preference for girl groups in the industry these days? And why is the disparity so large to the point that we rarely see K-pop boy groups on the charts today? Is it misandry? Probably not, but some people over time have claimed it to be the cause of this.
You know what's funny about the term misandry? As I was learning about like how misogyny is just taking over like literally everything, or it's just like the reason why everything is so messed up, I found out that there was a word that was like the woman equivalent in misandry. Nobody gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's like nobody really cares that misandry exists because misogyny is so like destructive. Like in terms like, when they say like nobody's really gonna bat an eye when an oppressed group fights back because they're oppressed. They should be able to fight back. So like this misandry word doesn't hit like misogyny does at the moment. I think it might in like a long time, but right now it don't hit like that. It really doesn't.
An innate hatred or disgust for men. People point to widely popular and celebrated compilations of members of K-pop girl groups, quote, hating men as one kind of justification.
I was going to check out these videos too.
For this claim. All of this is hard to quantify, but if I could throw my hat into the ring on this issue specifically, I would actually argue that it's more likely misogyny contributing to this problem of relevancy more than anything.
Really?
There is an aspect to misandry that I think is definitely also at play here. I think it's both of these things, and I want to tell you why I think so.
Okay.
The term, quote, be a man, and how it's used in most contexts is considered a form of misandry, belittling or objectifying men and incentivizing them to behave in a certain, preferably masculine way.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Huh.
It's in this way that I think a foundational problem here in the K-pop industry is a combination of contempt that people have for feminine behaviors and also a distaste for male K-pop idols deviating away from what is considered traditionally masculine. Boy groups always maintaining a masculine image is fine, but it does limit the artistic potential for boy groups in a lot of ways just by comparison to the artistic range of girl groups. More recently, I'm thinking about the criticism that TXT got for their ballet core styling for the Deja Vu comeback. A lot of people had a surprisingly serious problem with this.
I honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. It's like, and I've been thinking about this for a long time. It's like you don't know how many people despise feminine aesthetics until you see a guy trying to get into or tap into the feminine aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was like 9 or 11, or when I was a young kid, I remember I put on my first pair of skinny jeans and it was a problem. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a problem. People weren't with that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing now, I'm like, when guys wear nail polish, it's like there's like a big ass disdain for it. And for example, like Jared McClain, who just got drafted to the NBA, he's wearing like nail polish and stuff like that. Or Dwayne Wade, who's coming out with this nail polish brand. It's like, bro, like, what are you doing? I'm kind of thinking like it could be also the sentiment that women can't have shit. Like guys always putting themselves into women's business. You know what I'm saying? Like if you, it's just like, oh, like you're trying to get into this type of industry that's not for you. Like we did this because this is a girl's thing. Like that's what I'm thinking of. And that's how it's been with some of the girls I talk to. Like they'd be like, bro, can we have our own shit? Like y'all are putting your own shit into everything that we do. Can we have our own shit? I feel like that could be a sense of it too. But also, and it's not really said like that, a lot of women are homophobic. And it's like crazy that they are. I'm not like it's actually nuts. But at the same time, and I was told this and I was thinking about it, it was like everything is a part of the patriarchy and upholding the patriarchy. Like women can play into the patriarchy as well, but at the same time, the patriarchy is what's fucking everything up. But there's also this thing where people just don't like guys doing things that are deemed for girls, I guess. Hey man, shit, I don't know. I just thought I just be thinking like if people do genre bending stuff, I think it's cool. Like I really think it's cool. Pretty much me, I like if you can fit the clothes, you wear the clothes. I'm not really tripping for real. I don't really care. You do what you want. I'm not finna gonna have like a visceral reaction because say like Yeonjun wants to wear a skirt or TXT wants to put on some ballet shoes or something. Like I'm not finna. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. You know. A lot of other people have a crazy disdain for it, though. I feel like it's kind of weird, but I don't know.
This more feminine styling for the members, and it got me thinking about how this may be contributing to the problem of relevancy that boy groups are facing.
But at the same time, I don't understand because ever since I started tapping into, K-pop, they were wearing makeup. Like they were wearing makeup. They were doing the cropped blazer, like I think of Kai wearing the cropped blazer and stuff like that, or like the bedazzled do. Like it's just like I don't know. It's like, is it really that? Because they've been tapping into stuff like this for a while. I guess it's like there was like a line and the line has been crossed to push the envelope. And I guess people are like, hold on, let's not cross that line. And at the same time, I'm going to reiterate, it don't matter to me. I don't really care. It's like if it looks good, if the music's good, I'm fine with it. If it's not hurting nobody, I'm cool with it. But I'm not going to lie and say like, it's not interesting to look at, or by interesting to look at, I mean, it's not interesting. Like it's good to have a conversation about it because I find this intriguing. And as to why people are so mad about shit like this.
Girl groups have a lot of freedom to take on whatever sound and concept they want. They have the potential to appeal to many different markets, whereas the rubric for boy groups seems to be a lot more rigid. I think this is the core of the issue. Girl groups have more of a universal appeal and the ability to tap into several different global markets, whereas boy groups have always and continue to fill a smaller but highly lucrative market. The market that boy groups pander towards puts forth and maintains a specific rubric that girl groups no longer abide by. Groups like aespa, Everglow, and ITZY have all taken on sounds and performance styles that are traditionally associated with boy groups. This kind of dark, industrial, hard-hitting music, often endearingly referred to as noise music, right? Girl groups can take on that sound and style and emulate it very closely to whatever the concept demands, whereas boy groups taking on more traditional sounds from girl groups have to restrict themselves in adaptation for a lot of reasons.
I'm also thinking like in society, it just, and this is what I'm gaining from, I guess, experience and just looking, it's like it looks good to the masses or to a large amount of people. It looks good if a girl taps into some guy shit or some dark shit, but it doesn't look like it doesn't look good if a guy taps into more feminine things. Like there's literally a saying called tomboy. It's not really a saying called tom girl. They just call you gay or just start being madly homophobic. So I guess it's that. I'm not really a social, what's the word? I don't know the word, but let's keep going. I'm yapping in this video, by the way. I'm just very curious, and y'all can please have respectful dialogue in the comments down below if you think what it could be or
Mafia in the Morning by ITZY can be copied and replicated by a group like Stray Kids, but could Stray Kids copy and emulate a song like Sneakers?
No.
Yes, but
Not
it would
really.
have to change in some ways. There seems to be a kind of boy group filter that music and concepts have to go through before it's considered acceptable enough for a boy group to perform. And I genuinely think this, more than anything, is impacting the global appeal to boy groups. I'm not calling Mafia in the Morning by ITZY an inherently boy group song or Sneakers a girl group song. I'm just outlining that they carry sounds and styles traditionally associated with each type of group respectively.
And also, if I sound crazy, just let me know, please.
And I bring this up to outline that I think this characterizes what I believe to be the problem at hand here. It's relatively easy for girl groups to take on whatever sound and style they want, where boy groups aren't afforded that same kind of freedom. I don't identify this as a debilitating problem, just something that does limit boy groups in this market of pop music. This is the difference in marketability and global or mainstream relevance as a consequence of that. K-pop for the most part has always been like this though, so why is it a problem now? The thing is that it's not really a problem depending on who you ask. Boy groups fill a market and meet the expectations of that market. There's certainly not a loss of income, yet I suppose we continue to have these conversations because throughout the second and a bulk of the third generation, boy groups were at the very front of the K-pop industry package. I believe all of this is kind of the answer to its own problem though. I think K-pop has always been this way, or it's been this way for a while. The way boy groups are engaged with has always been different compared to girl groups. It's just that as K-pop has reached more of a global audience and as K-pop fans' interests change over time, girl groups carry the bulk of the dynamic that people are looking for. Girl groups are able to consistently reach a threshold in pop music and performance that boy groups, for some reason or another, don't often venture to by their own accord or by the companies that manage them.
I also think that like in recent years, the girl groups have tapped into a concept that the masses love. Like New Jeans, for example, that Y2K concept is so like just loved, and they've taken over it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that could be a reason why, in my opinion. It's just like, I mean, it's just a time for girls to show their ass and do what they need to do. You feel me? Like, this is what it is right now. I don't really think it's a problem for real. Yes, it is limiting, but it's like, the music sounds good, in my opinion. So
And when they do, like we saw with TXT, they often get discouraged or sometimes outright condemned from doing so.
Yeah.
A non-masculine style is not what the majority of the boy group market is looking for, as it seems. I don't want to get it misconstrued. I'm not saying that boy groups aren't putting in as much effort as girl groups, or that girl groups are more talented, or anything like that. It's just a different way that the industry constitutes the average K-pop boy group, and also equally, the way in which fans engage with the groups. From what I understand and have observed during my time as a K-pop fan, the general public of music listeners users are more likely to become fans of the music that girl groups are putting out in addition to becoming fans of the idols, whereas boy groups is kind of the other way around. People are more likely to become fans of the idols first, and then there's potential for the music. It's a highly lucrative market that boy groups appeal to, just a less culturally relevant one in the current K-pop landscape. That's why we don't see them on charts that rely on the input of the general public. The issue of, quote, relevancy in this discussion is in regards to success and exposure out of the general K-pop fanbase, in which girl groups are consistently able to market towards in a way where boy groups cannot do so as easily. That is my simplified understanding of this. The cultural relevance of the K-pop boy group continues to wane over time as the marketing philosophy for boy groups quite stubbornly remains what it always was. But I keep coming back to the question though, is this actually a problem worth attempting to remedy or fix?
No. No, not really. No.
We've discussed that
I
the
don't
boy
think
group
so.
industry certainly isn't suffering monetarily by not changing. It's a financially reliable market, and so I believe the only question we can or should ask from that point is how much artistic input are the boy groups themselves able to apply? We know from boy groups like Stray Kids, Bangchan continues to say that they're making the music that they want to make. So no. In the case of groups like Stray Kids, as long as they're happy and doing what they want to do, things like chart positions should not really matter.
Yeah.
I suppose those are my general thoughts on this. I wish we could see, of course, more musical and conceptual dynamic from boy groups in general. I do kind of wonder what it would be like to have the boy group equivalents to fun K-pop music like Super Shy and Supernova. We currently have similar enough songs in terms of sound, like instrumentally, but the concept never really meets the mark as far as what I've seen out of boy groups. I'm looking for the high concept, high art releases that add to the colorful ethos of the K-pop industry, but if boy groups themselves don't want to take on these styles and concepts in the way that I think the general K-pop fan base and general public are expecting, they certainly shouldn't be forced to, right? I also want to emphasize that I don't mean to condemn all boy groups as one kind of marketing style in one fell swoop as a way to dismiss what makes each boy group and artist unique. Groups like Zykers and Even fill their own musical and conceptual niches underneath the boy group umbrella, but in the end, the concept and performance seems to continuously market to the highly lucrative boy group demographic, which just so happens to not exactly be in line with what the larger and global general public is looking for. So, in the end, it's a case-by-case basis, and not really a problem depending on who you ask. But as for why boy groups aren't as culturally relevant anymore on average, I personally believe nothing has really changed. Boy groups and girl groups fill the same markets as they always have, it's just that girl groups have become the more mainstream preference as K-pop gains more global exposure.
Yeah,
Again, this
pretty
isn't
much.
to say that boy groups are now doomed to total irrelevance and nugudom. It's just a matter of mainstream appeal, which, as we've seen based on album sales, doesn't always equate to the most success. Those are my thoughts on this. As always, I don't consider myself
it's
an
valid.
expert on the K-pop industry in any way. This is just my personal understanding, as I've been a fan of K-pop for a while at this point. I was present for the rapid expansion of the Hallyu wave from 2018 to 2020, but that doesn't mean everything I say has any weight compared to another person's opinion. This is just my opinion and my understanding as I see it. That being said, if you do see this in a different way, have a different understanding or explanation for what's going on, I hope you'll let me know what you think about this. Thank you for watching this all the way through to the end. If you did, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time.
I mean, this is valid. This was a very valid explanation, and I agree with his sentiments as well. It's just like at the end of the day, it's like, bro, this is what people want to listen to. Like you honestly can't really control that. You can't lead a horse to water and make that nigga drink. This is what people want. Maybe it might turn another way. I don't know. I'm not complaining about it. But this is just what people want, man. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, this was a good video. This was a good topic to bring up. And this was a good question as well. You know what I'm saying? I do want to know what you guys think about this. I know majority of y'all are women. That's what it says in my demographic. So I do want to know what y'all think about this. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. I hope you have a good day.